What's up, y'all? Before we get started today, I just want to give you a few channel updates. So you hopefully can't tell, but I'm on a brand new set. We've moved back to Virginia from Chicago. I've got a new job going on, all very good, exciting stuff, but I'm kind of getting reset up here. I'm currently filming on a couple of cardboard boxes. I'll be sure to put a picture of that in there, but I'm hoping to revamp the set a little bit, maybe add a few of my own favorite horror-related objects into the set somehow, whether it be in the background or in the front. But I think some fun changes will be happening soon, and I'm officially done with grad school now, so I'm able to put a little bit more time and effort into these videos. I've been really working my butt off during the past 2 years, but I'm excited to have a bit more free time to just do some different kinds of videos, put some more time and studying and research into the movies I'm reviewing. So I think it's all going to be really exciting stuff. But yeah, with that, let's get to the video.
What have you done to my baby? Why do you want my baby? Why do you want him?
You know, Scorpios really aren't cautious. Just dangerous.
Welcome to Hamburgers and Horror, the home of meat, monsters, and mothers. I'm Noah Hook, and today we're looking at The Baby. This 1973 psychological horror exploitation film follows a social worker named Anne who is assigned to a bizarre case involving a grown man who seemingly has the mind of an infant. She becomes obsessed with proving that the family is responsible for abusing Baby, and her obsession leads to a violent conclusion. The Baby was directed by Ted Post, a prolific director who brought us numerous episodes of well-known TV series like Rawhide, Gunsmoke, and The Twilight Zone, as well as blockbuster films such as Hang 'em High, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and Magnum Force. While Post had delved into sci-fi and horror before, this is pretty unanimously considered his strangest film. The script was written by Abe Polsky of films like The Gay Deceivers and Rebel Rousers. We'll look past that for now, as The Baby stars Anna Jeanette Comer from Dead of Night and The Loved One, Ruth Roman from Strangers on a Train and The Far Country, Mariana Hill from El Condor and Messiah of Evil, Suzanne Zanor from Play It Again Sam and The Girl Most Likely To, and David Mooney from Chaplin and Take My Eyes. Cinematography was handled by Michael Margulies of films like Police Academy and Repossessed, and the score was composed by Gerald Fried of The Killing and Paths of Glory. The Baby had a pretty limited theatrical release, but was actually met with pretty positive reviews from critics, although some found it to be a bit slow and in bad taste. The Baby currently has a 93 and 52% on Rotten Tomatoes, as well as a 3.2 on Letterboxd, so it seems to have held up pretty well over the years. Thank you so much to my patron Uncle Pete for requesting The Baby for me to review. Before this, I had genuinely never heard of it, and it's always exciting to watch something new and especially cover it on the channel. But that being said, if you have not seen The Baby yourselves, you should probably stop this video and go watch it for yourself. There are some twists and turns that are absolutely gonna be spoiled here. But with all that said, it's probably time we get started. Probably time to put your kids to bed, folks, because we're watching The Baby. The movie opens with a woman looking over pictures of a baby. This is a social worker named Anne, and these photos are one of her new clients she'll be meeting soon. Looks like the baby is all grown up, but still acting like an infant. She shows pictures of him to an older woman, but more on her later. Anne arrives at the home of the Wadsworth family and is met by the matriarch Mrs. Wadsworth. I'm gonna call her Mama throughout this video though. It's clear she's used to welfare popping in to check on her son, who the family simply refers to as Baby. Anne will be Baby's new worker, also sharing that she made a special effort to get this assignment because she found it so interesting. The Wadsworth family consists of 4 people. We got Mama Wadsworth, her 2 daughters, Germaine and Alba, and her son Baby. Anne asks what Baby's real name is, but older daughter Germaine emerges and says it's just Baby. The family mostly survives off what the county gives them for Baby, as none of the women work very much. Mr. Wadsworth ran off after Baby was born, so he's not in the picture. Jermaine is defensive when Anne asks to see Baby, but Mama says he's simply taking his afternoon nap. They observe the grown man in his crib, and a bit later Anne even gets to feed him in his high chair. She visits a few more times that week, observing Baby's inability to speak or walk. Mama asks why she's popping in so often, but Anne assures her that she simply thinks Baby is special. At the Department of Social Services, she meets with her supervisor, Mr. Foley, who is concerned with the amount of time she's spending with the Wadsworths. Anne explains that she believes the family is guilty of negligence and maybe even abuse, arguing that no other social workers have spent enough time to really know what's going on in that house. Only one other worker ever voiced concern, and she disappeared. Uh-oh. Anne keeps up her persistent visits and becomes sure that he's more aware and active than his family gives him credit for. Jermaine and Alba watch as Baby catches a ball she rolls to him and has it bring it back to her, and the sisters quickly take him inside. Jermaine asks how she dresses so nicely on a social worker's salary, asking if her husband supports them. She lets it slip that he used to be an architect, but changes the subject. Jermaine does let her walls down a bit and asks Anne if she'd like to hang out during a weekend, but she is reluctant to say yes.
Do you like physical exercise? Sometimes.
She says she's a Scorpio and very cautious. She does ask when the last time Baby was examined by a psychologist was, which hasn't been since he was an actual baby. Before she drives off, Jermaine notes that Scorpios aren't really cautious, they are simply dangerous. Dun dun dun. That night, Anne looks over slides of her husband with her mother-in-law, and we learn he suffered some kind of accident that was her fault. Next, we meet a young babysitter who's watching Baby that evening. She changes his dirty diaper, and after a tantrum, she allows him to come out of his crib for a bit. He tries to make a break for it, but she brings him back in, and when he gets hungry, she reluctantly lets him breastfeed on her. Oh god, wait, she likes it! The Wadsworths come home from a night out and catch this activity.
We were just fooling around, nothing really happened, honest.
Nothing happened. With your damn tit in your mouth, and you call that nothing?
And Mama proceeds to give her a beatdown. She lashes her with a rope before her daughters convince her to let the girl go, and the two threaten to press charges before tossing her outside. Anne swings by during a time she knew Mama would be gone, trying to get Alba to warm up to her a bit more. She wants to get Baby professional help and can't do it without the family's trust, but Alba says Baby was born backwards and will always be this way. Baby starts throwing his toys and Alba threatens to spank him, and she reluctantly leaves Anne to watch Baby so she can answer the phone. Anne uses this time to try and get Baby to stand up. The big fella doesn't quite make it all the way up, but he does understand her instruction and tries, and Mama catches them in the act. Anne plays it off as testing his coordination and tries to convince Mama that she should consider letting Baby attend a day clinic for the mentally undeveloped. She believes this setting could allow Baby to properly advance and become more self-sufficient. Mama doesn't like the idea, especially since she doesn't drive. Anne offers to take him to and from the clinic, but Mama does not want her Baby alone with another woman. Anne argues it would even be free for Baby to attend, and Mama asks her to show her why she believes Baby has a chance of improving. Anne tries to get Baby to fetch the ball again, but she doesn't notice that his fear of Mama keeps him from trying. Mama says she'll think about the clinic as an option though. That's a big fat lie. As punishment for his recent behavior, Alba shocks the poor guy with a cattle prod while shouting that babies don't stand, walk, or talk. Yep, Baby is not a baby by nature. He has been violently forced to continue behaving like a baby by his family. Oh, what the fuck? I guess Jermaine is also secretly assaulting him. Anne longingly stares at a bunch of special needs children, and she shares her concerns about baby to the director of the clinic. She is confident that he is a normal man who has been debilitated by a life of abuse. She notes that each of Mama's children was with a different man, all three of whom abandoned her. She thinks the third betrayal broke her, and she's taking it out on the only male member of the family. Dr. Sutton recommends turning the case over to the public guardian, but Anne believes she doesn't have enough evidence yet. The Wadsworths are 30 minutes late to an important meeting with them at the clinic, and Germaine confirms that Mama changed her mind and they aren't coming. She also tells Anne she should contact her supervisor before hanging up. Yeah, Mama told Dr. Foley that Anne was getting uncomfortably close with baby, and she's been dropped from the case. She confronts the Wadsworth women and tells them her suspicions and that she's planning to fight for legal custody of baby. Mama believes she wants baby for her own twisted reasons, but Anne says her abuse of baby will not stand up to the Guardian's investigation.
You damn bitch.
I'll be seeing you in court, Mrs. Wadsworth. Anne returns home to mother-in-law Judith, and we see that they are having some kind of construction done on the place. Oh, it's a new pool. How exciting. She also got a call from Mama Wadsworth, whom she calls back. The matriarch apologizes for her behavior today and hopes they can patch things up, also hoping that the public guardian doesn't have to be involved. She invites her to baby's birthday party tomorrow, saying it'll show how he interacts in a larger setting. Anne hesitantly agrees to attend. Baby's party is actually more festive than I would have predicted, but there's at least one creepy guy who can't help but make a pass at Anne. She tells him she's happily married though. She wants to chat with Mama about baby, but she's too busy drinking and cutting it up on the dance floor to care. Anne whoops Alba in darts, but Mama and Germaine take this opportunity to carefully replace her drink with a new one that I'm sure isn't roofied. The family takes a moment to acknowledge how hard Mama works and how many sacrifices she's made to take care of baby, and she just soaks up the limelight. The drugs start to hit and the sisters put Anne to bed upstairs. Oh, scratch that, they're taking her to the back rooms. They gag and tie her up, locking her away while they finish partying. Creepy guy Dennis is easily distracted by what he saw, but nobody noticed that baby saw what happened as well. He makes his way back and finds Anne and playfully helps get the gag out of her mouth. The party is ending by the time Anne manages to cut her ropes, but by the time the Wadsworth realize what's going on, Anne is in her car with baby. They try to give chase, but badass Anne has flattened their tires.
A tricky bitch.
He punctured it.
She thinks of everything.
After a couple hours, they realize she isn't going to the police. She intends on keeping baby for herself. Back at her place, Anne gives baby a bath and a brand new suit. Judith asks if she really wants to go through with this, but Anne assures that they could never be like the Wadsworths. Savage-ass Anne sends Mama a photo of her son standing up in his suit, telling them that baby is quickly progressing into a grown man, and soon the baby they knew will be gone forever. Even if he's forced to return, he won't be baby. The ladies make a drive over to Anne's, with Mama sending her daughters in to take baby back. Germaine makes her way inside the home and whips out a revolver, while Alba heads around back and finds the in-progress swimming pool. Germaine and Alba can hear baby and start heading towards him, and Mama ultimately follows her daughters inside as well. But she finds Germaine stabbed to death dangling on the staircase, and Alba emerges with a big-ass knife in her back as well. Anne emerges with an axe, but Mama gets a hold of it, and she leads the matriarch downstairs. Anne gets the upper hand with a fire poker, and Mama heads back upstairs, only for Judith to emerge with a cleaver. Mama jumps from the stairs and breaks her legs, but Anne stops Judith from finishing her. She has something else in mind. They tie her up and drag her outside, all while Mama asks her what they've done with baby. They promise they intend to love, cherish, and protect him, and they toss her into the pool pit with her dead daughters. Anne and Judith bury Mama alive, planning to soon cover up their crime in concrete. Anne releases Baby from a closet she was hiding him in, and her true intentions are finally revealed. She never planned on rehabilitating Baby. She was simply looking for a playmate for her husband. Roger's accident left him with the mental capacity of an infant, and now he will have someone just like him to spend his days with. Aw, what a big happy family playing in their brand new pool. What a happy ending, right? And that's The Baby. Oh boy, this is a weird one, but not in the usual ways I'm usually talking about on this channel. Plenty of the films I cover on the channel are overly bombastic and trying really hard to do over-the-top and strange things, whereas The Baby takes a bit of a different approach. At times it feels almost mundane, more like a TV movie than a Hollywood production. It doesn't really play into the absolute absurdity that's happening on screen. The camera takes on such an objective, non-judgmental role as though what we're witnessing is totally normal. This subtle approach actually makes the entire film feel even stranger as we watch a daytime drama filled with neglect, abuse, assault, and murder. The whole cast turns in great performances, but Ruth Roman as Mama Wadsworth is definitely the standout here. I totally buy her as this self-serving, abusive maniac who fully believes she's doing nothing wrong. I really enjoyed the last-minute twist revealing that Anne and her mother-in-law are also villains. There are little hints of it throughout the film, but it's pretty unpredictable on a first-time watch. I guess Baby's future will be a little bit less abusive now, but he is still undoubtedly a victim here. But while I like how the simplistic cinematography adds a strange normality to everything, describing the film as a TV movie is not entirely said as a compliment either. There are moments where the camera's a bit out of focus, a lot of shots that are just really static and kind of uninteresting to look at, and certain parts of the film, especially the party near the end, really drag with unnecessary filler. But every other horror film from the 70s was pretty slow and static and filling time with unnecessary things and red herrings and whatnot, so it's not something I hold against The Baby uniquely in any way. I'm especially forgiving towards this film as it was made on a mere $200,000 budget. That was worth a lot more in the 70s, but still nowhere near being considered a big budget film. The Baby is definitely a worthy contribution to the exploitation genre. It feels like a lower camp version of something you'd see in a John Waters film. I'm not confident there's a ton of big themes or larger meanings to be taken from the film, aside from a broad idea that anybody will take advantage of somebody if it helps them. There is no real moral high ground, just a bunch of people who believe they are doing what's right and are willing to harm others to achieve that goal. Dark stuff for an otherwise pretty goofy film. All in all, The Baby is a bizarre little flick that disguises itself as something normal, just like its protagonist Anne. I wouldn't describe it as scary, but what happens on screen is definitely horrific. If you're an exploitation aficionado, or if you just love weird off-kilter stories, you should definitely check it out. Well, that's about it. Thank you again to my patron Uncle Pete for requesting The Baby for me to review. This was very fun and a lot of fun to talk about, so thank you. But what did y'all think of The Baby? Let me know down below. I'd love to talk about it. But what did y'all think of The Baby? Let me know down below. I'd love to chat about it. And be sure to join me in 2 weeks as we check out another patron request. Thank you all so much for joining me, and an extra thank you to my patrons. As always, I'm Noah Hook, and thanks for watching Hamburgers and Horror. Stay safe out there. Thanks for watching my review of The Baby. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe so you can keep up with all my horror reviews. And if you want to help support the channel further, you should check out my Patreon account. You'll be able to vote for future movies and franchises I cover on the channel. Thanks, y'all.